All right, folks, thanks for joining me again for my second life hack in my series. Today I'm going to be looking at combining the excellent diagnostic queries from Glenn Berry with dbatools. So first things first, if you haven't already heard of Glenn's diagnostic queries, you're missing out. This is a link to his website. He has so many great resources up there on all of the queries that he's written for every SQL version that's out, basically, and how you can use those queries to diagnose your issues. Then we have dbatools, and we are going to look at the first two commands here, but there are four commands that deal with Glenn's diagnostic queries in the dbatools module. Today we'll look at the invoke and the export DBA diagnostic query commands. So first things first, invoke DBA diagnostic query. Now this is going to do exactly what it says. It's going to run one of the queries, but we don't know which one, right? So we're going to use the selection helper, which is one of my favorite parameters on this command, because what it does is it pops up this box and allows you to view all of the queries that are available for your version of SQL Server. You can then select these. If you hold Control, you can select multiples. Pressing OK, it'll output the results to your console. You can see here the version information for my MS SQL 1 instance. If we know the query we want to use, we can use the query name parameter. And here I'm specifying that I just want the result property to be returned. And what that'll do is it'll go out, run the tempdb data files query, and then output, this is just the results. So you can see that my tempdb database has only one data file. Now that's fine, right? We're not really getting anything more than what Glenn already provides with his diagnostic queries. The power of using PowerShell and dbatools is when we want to run this across multiple servers. So here I'm going to run one query, which is the core counts query, across two SQL instances, MS SQL 1 and MS SQL 2. I'm then going to use a little bit of PowerShell magic to format the output how I want it. But basically, I'm going to pipe it using the pipeline into a for each object. I'm then going to use the pipeline variable to save this output as the result variable, and then pass it on down the pipeline. I can then use the result to format my output. So if I run this, you can see I'm going to get the core counts returned from those two SQL instances. And you can see here that they are both Docker containers running on my laptop, so the core information is going to be the same for these. We can also run all of the queries at once. So here I'm doing all of the instance only using this switch queries against my MS SQL 1 instance. I'm then piping it to export DBA diagnostic query and giving it a path. And as you can see in the output down here, it is going through and running every one of those queries and dumping it as a CSV to my output folder. Now, if I open this up, you can see that we have tons of files with all kinds of information stored in CSV format, VLF counts, IO latency, all kinds of things have been stored in this file. So this is a really good way of quickly outputting all of the information that you need to collect while a problem's going on, right? Before someone wants to reboot the server or quickly get production up and running, you can grab this snapshot of what's happening right now so that you can troubleshoot and diagnose what's going on. So that was using the export DBA diagnostic query, which is included with dbatools. We can then go one step further and introduce the import Excel module. Now, import Excel is a PowerShell module that allows you to manipulate Excel spreadsheets, import them into PowerShell, or export things to spreadsheets without having to have Excel installed. So I'm going to kick this off while I talk you through it. But basically what we're doing here is the same beginning part. We're running all of the instance-only queries for MS SQL 1 and passing them into a for each object. I'm then creating this splat table that I've named, it's a hash table that I've named Excel splat that I'll then pass into the export Excel parameter, export Excel function. And all I'm doing is I'm giving the worksheet a name of the SQL instance, and then each sheet within that workbook will be named after the query that's been run and put onto it, if that makes sense. And it should make more sense when I open it up in just a second. You can see down here that we've run 48 out of 49 queries. So whenever we're running instance-only queries, there are 49 queries for this SQL Server, and it's 2017 version. 49 different queries that are going to get run and executed. And if we take a look at our MS SQL Excel file, as this open, you will notice that it says that we found a problem, and it asks if it can be trusted. So I know it can be trusted because I made it. Basically, what it's saying is there are some XML strings that can't be processed. So I'm just going to close on that, but know that there is something missing from this spreadsheet, probably from a query plan or something like that. But you can see here I have a tab for each one of the queries. So I've got my version info, my core counts, server properties, configuration values, and many more tabs, 49 of them. So this is a really great way of getting your data into an easy readable format that you can then use to store or to manipulate further. You could do the same thing, and this is the exact same query, except I'm passing in a database name and I'm running database-specific queries. I'll leave you to play with this one. The final thing I want to show you is what happens if we want to run a single query against multiple servers and output that to Excel. So let's run this. We are going to run the configuration values query against 2 instances. Again, we're using the PowerShell magic to format the output how we want. But we are going to create a configuration values spreadsheet that has 1 server per worksheet. So if we take a look at the output, and when my Excel spreadsheet opens, you can see that we have an MS SQL 1 worksheet and a MS SQL 2 worksheet. And so you could pretty easily go through your entire environment and output all of your configuration values to a spreadsheet. Hopefully that's been useful and it's got you interested in using Glenn's amazing queries with dbatools. If you have dbatools commands or other PowerShell that you want to see me highlight on this series, please drop me a message on Twitter or on YouTube and let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me.